Hello, hello, this is Brian from Tavaran Games here with a long delayed update to Dungeon Maker. So, if you've been paying attention to the YouTube channel, you'll have noticed I took some time to work on a strategy map generator as well as make a tutorial series for that. I just needed a bit of a break from Dungeon Maker, I was getting a little burnt out working on it. And then I went on vacation with my family, and then I got a horrendous cold and was sick for several weeks, so I didn't get back to working on Dungeon Maker until recently. But I have been working on it and getting updates posted. So the first thing you might notice is this background artwork on the main menu, and you can see it in other menus. So I'm working on artwork, adding this artwork to the game and the different menus. So I have a campaign one I'm working on in here. It's been a while since I've done digital painting, and I'm not as fast as I used to be at it. But over the next while, I want to get different bits of artwork done for like the character screen, the enemy screen, NPCs, and some other artwork for the game. Not just to be used on the menus, but as a user in the Steam discussion suggested, adding in a briefing screen where you can select digital painting like this. As well, it would have a title and a text area on it that you could edit. And you could use that as a staging area for your players outside of the campaign map when you want to describe certain things in the game or go through different narrative aspects. So I'm going to be working on that for the next few weeks and hopefully can get those in soon. As well, I have been fixing some bugs. So if we go to the campaign editor, so let's just open up a map here. So one glitch I had is when you did the test map, so your character, of course, will have the screen blocked here. Let's open that door. And it will show you sort of what things are supposed to look like. But at the origin point, which would be around here for this map, that was also blocking the light as if there was a wall there. Now, that was a case in the editor itself. I need to have a placeholder object on the map screen in order for it not to complain about there not being any shadow compositor, like object within the shadow composite, in the editor and allow me to actually work on the game. But it's not actually needed in the final exported product. Now that object was placed on the wrong layer by accident, and that was blocking the light, and it took me a while to notice because I often had placed a wall or another object on the origin that would block the light anyway. However, that glitch was there, and it has been fixed. Another glitch I had is, since I added in the layers, so if we go up, you can see the different layers, you can see that between the layers, I introduced this sort of fog effect, where it makes the layers underneath a little bit more dim, so it's quite clear which layer you're looking at. However, the map exporter was positioning above that fog layer, so when you export the map, it all looked really faded. So that's something I fixed, so the map exporter now exports correctly. It positions the camera between the fog layer and the first layer. You can only export the first layer as of right now. I might in the future add in a feature, or actually probably will in the future add in a feature where you can export the different map layers. But for now, at least you can export the bottom layer of the map, layer 1, correctly again. Now another thing you'll notice is this object count change. I've had to reduce the object limit on a single map to 5,000 from what I had as 7,000. The reason for that is actually in the multiplayer messaging system that's being used to transfer the map data has a limit in the amount of data it can send with a single object. Now before the layer system and before I added in rotational information for the objects and different positional information, the limit it could send was about 7,000 objects. But in recent testing, I found a town I'd made that used over 5,000 was not syncing to the players, and they were just getting stuck on the loading scene screen. So I reduced it to 5,000 and found that that worked, that maps with 5,000 objects or fewer sync quite well, and those are still working. So I'm going to have to go into the back end to see if there's a way I can eke out a little bit higher of an object count, but for now the limit will be 5,000. However, to compensate for that, I've added in a new feature. Under the utilities, on the regular map, you can now place encounter flags to the other maps directly. So let's say we wanted to go and have just a transfer flag from here. So players could go directly from this map to the Nordberg map. You would be able to just click on this as the Dungeon Master and take them directly to that map without going back to the campaign map. So this way you could build a town out in multiple maps in different sections, different quadrants, different areas of the town, and just use the flags within it to bounce the players between the different town areas and allow you to sync the map to all the players. Alright, So another glitch I fixed, we're going to have to start a multiplayer game in order to show you that. So let's go and let's host a game. Okay. And let's grab a player and join it. So we're going to join with written vars we need. And you're going to get to see my local IP. That's fine. Okay, so we have a character on the map. Now, let's get a spell going. So in this case, a cone spell. A cone spell. And let's look at the Dungeon Master screen. And you can see that that cone spell is there. And it's actually still tracking its position from the other screen. Now, what was happening before is if you then exited the game while you had that spell active, that object would just stay there. So if we hit exit there, though, now it goes away. So the spell object will disappear with the player when they exit the game. The other thing I fixed in that, let's join again, is before, if you had a cone spell specifically open, or a line spell, and you went to click the button to turn it off, it was registering that you clicked to activate the spell first, and so it would actually fire the spell before deselecting it, and then reselect the spell. So you couldn't click it off. So I found that was just a problem of I forgot to tell cone spells and line spells specifically that when the mouse is hovering over this menu on the side, to ignore or to not try to activate the spell, and to use the buttons here instead and the commands on them, just disabling the activation click. Like if I use it here, it'll actually fire the spell and disappear. But if you click over here, it doesn't do anything anymore. So that's been fixed. Okay, so another thing you'll be noticing, let's go back to the DM screen here, is another new feature on the campaign map. I've added in background color tiles you can use on the maps. So let's actually exit and let's open that map up. So I've just added in a few different colors for now. So we've got a yellow one, which could be used for desert or savanna or plains. Black, we've got gray, which is good for behind mountains. Green and brown, which are already here. So you can use these just to add a bit of color flair to your maps or to help to really differentiate sections. And if you have any ideas for other colors you would like to see, I'm happy to add them. It won't take me too long to make them. And, erasing everything. Let's just erase the backgrounds so we can get rid of those very quickly and have the map go back to the way it was. Alright, and then let's go and exit this. And let's go to just make a new test map on this one. Okay, jumping in here, another new feature. You'll notice down here, from before we have the town, the random dungeon map. We now have a generate random forest option. So on this, there's a few different options. So let's make a medium one. You can tell it if you want pathways. It'll be dirt paths and grass. You can say how dense do you want the trees. So let's say very dense, but let's add in a clearing. And then you can select the specific types of trees you want to spawn, the types of rocks you want, as well as different types of plants. And let's do that. And so here you see we've generated a random forest. So we have a clearing in the middle because we specified that. And there won't be any trees or plants growing in the clearing, but rocks can appear there. We have some pathways because we specified we want a few, and then a bunch of trees and rocks. So this should hopefully speed you up when you're making just like forest or outdoor areas and you don't want to sit there and try to randomly click trees and make it actually properly random and look good. You can just use the generate random forest feature now. Let's say we don't want any paths, and you can see we just get a bunch of trees with a clearing. And yeah, you can use this feature now for your outdoor maps. And on the random generators, let's generate a town really quick, just using the default. One thing you'll notice, if you generate towns before, the ground line created a border around the map, and the roads didn't go all the way to the edge, but now, as you can see, they do. I have them grow right through to the edge. And also, I made it so that the roads are not growing through the walls of buildings anymore. It used to happen that you could have a road which is set to 3 wide, would partially plow through a building wall, and it looked kind of funny, so I also fixed that up. Alright, and then the last update I have is just new items you can place. So on the wall section, I've added in a new type of fence you can place. So this one's kind of Meant to be an iron fence with sort of a stone bottom, something you'd see sort of around a mansion or a graveyard. Object-wise, what do we got? I don't remember everything I've added. Oh, yeah, I've added in graves you can use to make your graveyard. These wooden stakes for palisades, as well as wardrobes. A bunch of new decorations, so new types of potions you can place, no chemical tools. New weapons and armor items. So we have a couple new bits of weapon and armor. New decorations for the wall. So under the banners, we also have these wall covers now, which you can use. In the medieval times, they used to use these to help insulate and decorate walls in a way that they could then move and transfer them. So yeah, new objects for you to place under the natural, fallen logs, all that fun stuff. And so hopefully you guys like that. As usual, if you have any ideas for future features you'd like to see, new objects you would like me to add to the game, anything else, please comment down below or start a Steam discussion if you have Dungeon Maker. And as always, have a good one.